offensive game of the season against the 8th best defense in the league, and the Jazz get their stars to shine late. We'll talk about all that, break it down, and take your comments. It's all coming up on Postcast. I'm David Locke. This is Postcast Live, Locked on Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Locked on Periscope, on Locked on or DLock09. Thanks very much for tuning in. The Jazz win their 16th of their last 17. As I said, kind of on our post-game show, if you're not buying in and not believing now, I don't know what's going to get you to. They are just absolutely fabulous. They're playing with tenacity. They're playing with stars. They're playing a math game that's better than everybody else's. Tonight they end up shooting 48 threes. Boston takes 29. That's 19 more threes than your opponent. You make 5 more. It's awfully hard to make up for that. The Jazz, Boston came with a really good game plan. They were switching. They took away our ball movement. They were playing too big so that when you drove, there was always a big there. They were rotating out of it. They were bringing a weak side guy on Gobert. There was often a big, so the pass couldn't get down to him on the roll. They thought it through. It was really good. And about halfway through the game, they had to pull the ripcord on it because the Jazz had just destroyed it. And the Jazz, by the end of the night, had a 135 offensive rating, which is the best offensive game they've had all season long. We'll see what the official number comes in at, but it's right there with that of the game against Charlotte when the Jazz set the NBA record for the most threes. And the Jazz go to the free throw line 27 times. They take 48 threes. They crushed them on the offensive glass, taking advantage of the switching. And, they just were great. And then defensively, they weren't terrific all night. In the first half, they got their offensive rating down to a 112, but it went back up to 122. But late in the game, Rudy Gobert just impacted everything. Just absolutely impacted every play. It's going to be incredible to go back and watch that fourth quarter, play after play after play. Rudy Gobert just cuts off a drive, blocks a shot, forces them to change their shot, just completely altered their shot chart. In the first quarter of this game, Boston did not take a shot at the rim, and they did not take a corner three, whereas the Jazz took 14. Like, if your shot distribution is that much better than your opponents, you're going to eventually get the best end of it. And the Jazz eventually did exactly that today. Donovan Mitchell was the star late. He hit 2 massive threes. Joe Ingles on the floor without Donovan and without Mike Conley this year coming into this stretch was a negative. He ran the point guard play beautifully tonight, conducted, controlled, and scored. When they were switching and forcing him to go one-on-one and beat guys, he showed that. Jordan Clarkson was not having his regular night. He was 2 of 8 in the first half. Of course, he was unfazed by that and proceeded to make a huge 3 in the corner. The Jazz were sharp. Boston had a play where Boston kind of absolutely blinked and came out of timeout without the right focus, and Bojan Bogdanovic hit a massive 3 on that play. So really a fabulous game. Boston's good, I would say, but they're pretty thin. Kemba Walker's not right. He's 6 of his last 32. It's a massive problem for them. And without Marcus Smart, they don't have a lot of other guys. And so, Jaylen Brown was good at 33. Jason Tatum was pretty good late, had 23, though, on 20 shots. And Daniel Tice had a pretty good game. They didn't have a lot of other guys out there. This is the best start by the Utah Jazz in franchise history now at 20-5. All right, let's get to your comments, your questions. Let's go to Joseph on YouTube. He says, awesome defense, very impressive in the first half. Nathan just says what we're all saying. Wow. Yeah, I agree. JJ wants to talk about the officiating. I probably shouldn't do that, but I was at wit's end tonight. I will admit it. First time all year that the officiating got in my head. It just felt like I don't know what they're supposed to do. If the players are really fouling every play, I don't know what they're supposed to do, but boy, they ruined that game. Tough to lose when you shoot 20 more threes. Yeah, right. No, there's a math game here going on where it's very difficult to lose, particularly if you shoot them well. And tonight, here's the crazy thing. Here's the thing about us that we have not talked about enough. And I'm going to have to turn to my guy, Ron Boone, to make him think about this for a little bit because he loves it when I get deep into these numbers. This is a typical, Ron Boone and I are on the plane after this game. We're going to L.A. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Ron's got his headphones on. He's listening to Marvin Gaye. He's probably singing out loud. And I all of a sudden say, hey, Ron. And I start tapping him. And he's like, what, Locke? And I say to Ron, hey, if we're like a 42% 3-point shooting team and we have a bad night, what is that? Like, where's our standard deviation here, people? This is my point. So we went to against one of the best 3-point shooting defenses in the league, Boston's 8th best. We shot, 37.5 tonight? So is that a bad night for us? Like, what's our bad let me see if I can explain this to you, because I know you understand this, but in case you don't, let me think. If I'm playing somebody in ping pong and they're way better than me, the way that I beat them in ping pong is I play as few points as possible, right? So if I'm playing Ron Boone one-on-one and Ron's going to, at 70 years old, still going to kick my butt, we're going to sit there, we're going to play till 2 because I'm going to shoot the first shot of the game, and if it goes in, I win, and I talk trash for like a month. If we are going to be able to take 48 threes in a night, the more threes we take, the smaller our standard deviation gets away from our norm. Our norm's 42, right? Like, so if you flip a coin 5 times, there's a chance it'll be head 4, tails once. You flip a coin 10 times, it's going to get about to 6-4 every time. You flip a coin 20 times, it's going to be 15. It's going to be 10-10. You flip a coin 40 times, it's going to be 20-20. Eventually it's going to narrow down. So if we're taking 48 threes a night, what's our bad shooting night? This might be it. Like, I'm sure it's 34%, but you know what? If we hit 34% tonight, we still win by 7. It's only one more 3, right? What do we do? 48? So if we went 17 of 48, I have to do the math on that. I'm not that good, but if 34% would be between 17 and 16. Okay, well, we won by 14, so fine, we win by 7. But like, we're not going to have. Let me pull this up. When was the last time we had a 3-point show? We shot 31% against the Pacers on the deadest legs we could possibly have. We shot 31% against the Knicks. We just sucked. We shot 31% against Detroit. That's it. That's our bottom layer. 31% is our bottom layer. In those games, we took 42, 48, and only 35 against Detroit. So Detroit doesn't count. We didn't get our sample size up high enough. So, like, our bottom level is seriously like 34%. Well, if we're going to shoot 34% and we're going to shoot 48 threes and that's our bad night, well, it's hard to beat us. Even if you're the Lakers or Clippers, it's hard to beat us. I don't know that we can move the ball to get. Here's what's going to be really interesting to me about the Lakers and Clippers. I know everyone wants to talk about this, but tonight Boston showed the defense everybody wants to play where you switch, and that's how the Clippers are built. The Clippers are built at everyone's at 6'9", 7 feet to switch and play us that way. I don't. It's not working. So now the next way you got to play is you got to overshift. Be so long we don't have passing lanes to get the ball over the top to people and get them to 3-point shooters. We'll see whether or not that works. But I'm not convinced you can switch anymore. Aaron says he loves the way he slammed the door. It seems like they had a hard time doing that in the past. They're great to see. Goodwin says, Daniel, Mitchell's a superstar, 20-5. Got to be excited. Go Jazz. We are nasty. We can close. We're going to win a chip, says Cody. Calling it. Antonio, it feels like the Jazz play better against switching defenses this year. Absolutely. That's 2 of the last 3 games. From Twitch, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. We're going to the finals. Should I be? Yes, we're 20-5. Drink everything you can. Not too much of it, though. But, like, if you can't enjoy this, what's wrong with you? Andy wants to know if Derek's okay. He got hit in the face. He only played 11 minutes tonight. Derek's great. Rudy is just on another planet. So Derek didn't think about this when he signed. Is that he doesn't look as good because he replaces Rudy all the time. Jazz blowing up defenses. What do you attribute them to adjusting so quickly? 2-time MVP. I account for them adjusting so quickly. A brilliant head coach with a lot of really smart players who've now played together for a really long time. And they're reading and reacting everything. There's no mystery to them what to see right now. All right, that is Postcast. Thanks very much. I'll have Lockdown Jazz for you tomorrow. It'll be fun. Tomorrow, Thursday? Maybe we'll do it. No, tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll do a live show at some